Go to the swamp, they said. I was like, pfft. I was raised in one. I don't want to go back.
Hello and welcome to episode 156 of Rhythm Encounter, the RPG fan music podcast. I am your host, Mike Salbato, and we are here today, as you can tell from the title, to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X. Or Xenoblade Chronicles Cross, however you want to pronounce it. I'm going with the former. So with me today on this episode is Steph. It's been a while. Hello. Sean is here, making his debut on Rhythm Encounter.
Hello there. Hello there.
And last and never least, we have Wes.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mr. Wes.
That's two Dr. Nick references today already. That's fantastic.
Yeah, this kind of locked in. It's my usual greeting, but this time it worked.
Yeah.
It's Wes, who has an arm for a leg and a leg for an arm, or something like that. That's a Dr. Nick joke. Come on.
That is a deep cut.
Okay, phew.
Good,
I was trying to be rude.
All right, so of course we are going to be talking about Xenoblade, since this episode is going to go up like 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks before the definitive edition comes out. So I'm very excited about this. I've been wanting to get to this topic for a while. So
it's really nice to see so many more people hyped for it after like Xenoblade 2 and 3 built up a lot of fan base and goodwill, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people missed this one for obvious reasons. So I think it's going to go over well.
It was on the Wii U. That's worth its own joke and punchline right there.
Yeah. I mean, this is outside of some ports, because I still want those two Zelda games.
Right.
But this is the last, like, as far as I'm concerned, major like first party release that was not on Switch yet. So it's exciting.
That was a really good Wind Waker port, too. And it's like great that Nintendo's been really about these very good, let's fix things definitive editions lately.
Yeah, right, but they also do need the Twilight Princess one, too.
Oh, yeah.
I would love that. Okay, so we're going to talk about Xenoblade, but I want to talk a little bit, as we've been doing on recent episodes, about what we've been listening to recently. Just a song or two, or an album, or an artist, whatever it is you have. Anyone can go first. Like, what have you been listening to, whether it's game music or otherwise?
So inspired by an episode from, I don't know if it's earlier this year or last year at this point, when we listened to a bunch of lo-fi music, I've put together a playlist of all kinds of lo-fi RPG music, and that's been my nice, like, calm, easy listening. Like, I've got the kids and everyone's at home, and I just want to calm it down a little bit. That's been a big one. The other one has been I'm down an anime trail for the first time in a long time. So Japanese bands are hitting the top of my charts right now.
Oh, very nice.
It's a weird twisting road through trading card games that led me here eventually, but I don't know, I got there and now the music is catching up with me.
I love the two very different answers you had today.
It's really the dichotomy of Wes right here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm always down for some lo-fi. How about you, Sean? What have you been listening to?
I've not gotten a chance to play it yet, though my buddy Robert has offered to let me play his copy for a bit. The karaoke from Pirate Yakuza. But yeah, I've been listening to the karaoke. Mainly the dub versions, because I do enjoy this trend from like a Dragon Infinite Wealth and this, where they just pack it full of the songs that everyone likes. They had Judgment over there. They had in Infinite Wealth, they had Bakamitai. They even had Bakamitai 2, Baka Yoro. And and now in this one they have the cool Majima song that everyone liked from Zero and Dead Souls. And now you got Matt Mercer singing them, so... And he does a good job. I noticed, a lot of people were pointing out that I noticed that it didn't have as much auto-tuning as the ones in Infinite Wealth, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay, aside from that, I've Ironically enough, I've been listening to a bit of Hiroyuki Sawano stuff because he does like
He's so good.
the opening for Solo Leveling, which is a show
Yeah.
that I don't know if it's a good show, but it's definitely a fun show.
Yeah.
How about you, Steph?
Okay. I have some fun stuff just in my recently played the White Lotus season 3 opening. I don't know if anyone watches the show, but like all of the openings, there's a new one for every season, are really wild to listen to. They're really worth a listen. I have some Harry Styles, As It Was. I have Phil Collins' Another Day in Paradise. And and I was reading last night, so I put on a bunch of Lost Odyssey music because it's kind of good for that.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah, I've just been I've been listening to a lot of new music lately, actually. Well, old music, actually. Newly listened to a lot of old music. But
Yeah,
it's been fun.
new to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're here talking about Xenoblade X music, and I'm excited. I've been listening to a lot of that too, just to kind of get in the mood.
I mean, yeah, I would hope so.
And because I'm excited about the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been listening to?
Me, I have really fallen into one artist the last couple of weeks. I am a big fan of. I've become a big fan of a podcast called Buffering, which is a couple of queer women talking about Buffy.
Oh my god, that's great.
So they did it. I mean, it became a huge, it is still a huge show. Like I didn't find it till years later, like until after they finished all 7 seasons, and have now started it again, doing it with spoilers. Anyway, one of the hosts, her name is Jenny Owen Youngs, and I'm a big fan of like singer-songwriter stuff. And I've just, along with hosting the show, she does a song. She wrote a song for every episode, a little song at the end of every episode, and I'm like, okay, these are fun. But then I finally looked up her actual music, and I adore her. We actually saw her in concert last week. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm very, very deep into this right now, so big fan.
That's awesome. I've started watching Buffy actually not too long ago when I was sick, and I kind of want to pick it up again. I love that stupid library they hang out in, first off.
Oh yeah.
Just wanted to get that out. Are you team Angel or Spike?
Depends on the context.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't, I mean, both of them were good for her for different reasons at different points in her life. So, but yeah, anyway, that's our intro music. I think we should talk about what we're here to talk about. So first we're going to have Wes. Wes, you have 2 songs that I probably could have picked because they're 2 of my favorites, but I left them open hoping that you or someone would pick them. So what are we starting with?
We're starting with Uncontrollable and everyone's favorite theme of jumping while riding a giant robot, Don't Worry.
I actually like
right.
reading these together. It's like, Uncontrollable, Don't Worry.
I do like them together, yeah. All right. We're going to go listen to Uncontrollable and Don't Worry, and then come back with some chatter.
we've gotta try first. Miles and miles fly across our sky. Tonight's the time. Over the rainbow, glorious sight. It's light in our dreams, and I hope we're alright. We're all the same from another world. We don't belong here anymore. Look over there, it's gold mine. We can be as fellows, not a place to follow. Don't take the sorrow, pray for tomorrow. We've gotta get high enough to try. Over the world, we've gotta fly. Come to the dance with Firebird and take us all. Alright, we can go high enough and glide over the world to find our own lives. Come to the dance with Firebird tonight. It's ride or die. Over the rainbow, glorious sight. It's light in our dreams, and I hope we're alright. We're all the same, if from another world. We don't belong here anymore. Look over there, it's gold mine. We can be as fellows, not a place to follow. Don't take the sorrow, pray for tomorrow.
So there are two songs that I think of, probably first and foremost, when I think about Xenoblade Chronicles X. One of them we'll get to soon, later. The other one is Uncontrollable. Because this is one of those songs that I'll listen to outside of the context of the game consistently. And, I mean, Sawano's kind of amazing. I'll listen to most of his music from most of his projects outside of the context of shows, movies, games, whatever he works on. But this one, the lyrics with does anyone know the name of this vocalist? Oh, I had it written down and I completely lost it. It's not in my notes. Well, the main vocalist is a frequent collaborator of Sawano. You hear it in Kill la Kill with like Before My Body Is Dry and Don't Lose Your Way. You hear
Is it Mika Kobayashi, if that's familiar?
yes, she's in a couple of really good songs from All Noah Zero, but it always strikes me as like this is good like giant robot vocals. Like it feels that combination of like emotional and industrial with the backing music that really fits for, you know, giant robot anime is all about melodrama.
Yeah.
And the fact that this kicks in going
Epic
so hard,
melodrama with a giant robot.
epic melodrama, and that's kind of the scale that we're working with here, because this is, you know, dealing with a lot of the biggest, baddest enemies in the game. It feels appropriately big and bombastic enough to match the context that it lives in. Plus, it's just kind of a banger. I mean, the guitar goes so hard at the beginning. You start, you know, after that, it drops low for a minute with the male vocals and kind of building up. But once you hit the chorus there and you hit, you know, the rest of the song, the Mika's vocals kicking in, it's driving in a way that most games wouldn't dare to go down.
Fair.
And I think that's one of the things that Xenoblade Chronicles X does so best in its soundtrack is it's just daring. It's I'm trying to think of the work appropriate words and they're not coming to me. So let's stick with daring.
It really knows how to hit that sense of scale, though. Like, the whole game is about giant scale, and it has the music that really wants to meet and match that. You know, it's bombastic as much as it is to go around and fight things with a giant robot.
You know, like the whole robot thing kind of adds to that whole playfulness with scale too.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I like that they really do take this, like, when you're dealing with things that are a lot more driving, a lot more, especially things with robots, a lot of the time the music feels a little bit more industrial, and it kind of fits that mode. But one of my favorite things about this whole soundtrack is just the fact that vocals are so omnipresent throughout so much of it, which is something I think a lot of video games shy away from, but I wish more wouldn't. I know it's not a fit for everything, but I think it really, really adds a level of intensity and kind of bombasticness that really works for certain properties, and I think it works great here. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I picked Don't Worry, the Skell flying theme as well. A song that I think is absolutely wonderful, even though it drives people completely nuts because it'll trigger consistently when you're maneuvering in your Skell.
My first note was, ah!
It does have this beautiful new arrangement. We haven't, as of this recording, we haven't heard the whole thing end to end yet. But what we've heard sounds really promising, and comes along with the potential that we've seen that maybe this isn't the soundtrack of every time you jump in a Skell in the new version, which might make it a little bit less of an oppressive force in the game. But I think it fits so dang well when you're in the sky at like a higher altitude and just kind of looking over the world. It's got that really bright attitude to it, that kind of sense of wonder behind it, that doesn't sacrifice the inherent cool factor that Sawano music tends to come with.
It feels good when you're in the sunshine, and it feels good when you have a storm on you. Like, it just works all scenarios.
It's got that dramatic drive to it regardless, but not in the same way that something like Uncontrollable does. Not that this is pounding action. This is living within that same world, living within that same musical context, but it's looking out over the world instead of being deep in it.
That actually got me thinking of something, like, because at the point you're at in the game when you get that, like, it really feels at that point in the game like you have become, like, you have made this world your home. You're not just like a visitor here, you're accustomed to it. And that song especially makes it feel like feeling so palpable. Like, it like, you know, the song's called Don't Worry. It makes you feel like, you know, you're accustomed to this place now. It's like things are going to turn out pretty all right as far as things are looking right now.
A lot of the lyrics in the game definitely emphasize that togetherness and searching and, you know, living. And I think they went to the music makers and said, you know, we have a thing called soul voice, you know, kind of work that in there. And like a lot of the songs do talk about, souls and voices and reaching out and, you know, doing things together because you're all you have on this planet.
Yeah, no, like most of what I like about this game rather than the main story is the side quests where you're like getting to know a lot of different alien cultures and actually learning like interesting things about them and like, you know, getting them together and having them coexist. And that's the coolest part of that whole game to me.
I actually was going to talk about that exact thing on one of your song stuff, but because we're talking about it, I'll just jump in now and say the same thing, that is what makes this game for me, because I know people are like, oh, well, the story is so. It's like, but to me, the story is in the side quest and it is the people. So like, I like the story. It's just not told. It's not told in the way that most people expect it to be. Before this tangent gets too uncontrollable, I want to talk about this song. I was just waiting for an opening there. I really liked the idea when I was putting together the track list of, I really wanted to open the episode with this song specifically because I feel like Uncontrollable, I mean both of them, but especially Uncontrollable, is a great introduction and tell you what you're getting in for with this game and with this soundtrack.
I mean, that's the Xenoblade experience, right?
Exactly.
fighting
Yep.
monsters that are way too big for you in the starting area.
I love how like the flavor of this game is just so much different than the other three.
Right.
You know-
yes,
you
that's the
know-
thing. Like it's the scale of the game, but also just like musically, everything about it is different musically and the game from what you're expecting if you played the other ones. Or
Like-
I mean, when this came out, only the first Xenoblade was out.
Like,
but
this resembles more like a Witcher or a Breath of the Wild than like how any of the other Xenoblades are structured.
exactly.
I like X's take as like a Western sci-fi, like idea-wise and aesthetically, and I like how that's more the angle as opposed to Xenoblade 1 through 3's more fantastical, colorful, and the gods did it approach. This one's more you're stranded and the gods have abandoned you.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, just really across the soundtrack, the game has just really a lot of interesting and just really high energy music, but especially, like Wes said, high energy vocals too. And it all just really captures the spirit of exploring the game and the world so well. And then briefly on Don't Worry, it's been a long time, as much as I like this game, it's been a long time since I played it, since I don't keep my Wii U hooked up anymore. But I do remember that thrill of getting the skill finally, and then because you had to get the license to get the skill, but then there's another while before it can fly, right? That's another?
You're jumping around like a maniac.
You don't just have to get a license. You have to go through like a whole side quest chain.
Oh
They
yeah.
make you earn that flight module, man.
Uh-huh.
Like they're not just gonna give that away. Too easy.
Why all the training and the insurance? It's not like you can. It's not like Final Fantasy 15 where you can like land at like a 4-degree angle and like the car explodes.
Oh my god.
That's actually a thing about Don't Worry. Like, it feels like, like the airship music from like, the Final Fantasy games where they still had airships and they still had a music cue.
Yeah.
And I do like how it is a more casual song. Like when you go from like Final Fantasy 7 from like world map to the high wind, like it's in mean, bada, like it's very high energy right off the bat. But with Don't Worry, they know you're probably not going to be like, flying for super long periods of time sometimes. So they at least have the decency to make it like not like a huge blaring start.
You know what? You all actually kind of made me flip around at it. Like, yeah, I'm exhausted by the song. I've put many, many hours into this game, but you kind of got me changing on it. It is a good song, even after that many hours.
Yeah, I think part of what works for me is that because you get it relatively, depending on how you play or how much extra stuff you do, relatively late, or at least many, many hours into the game. So it feels more rewarding to me that you like, because it really accentuates the freedom that you have now. But anyway, yeah. Last thing is though, if we're correct and there is a toggle to tone down or turn off the vocals on the definitive edition, I will not turn it on. I'm here for it.
I will not.
You can turn it on. There's no wrong answers. I just want to, since we're talking about it.
I know I'm going to
that's
flip
my
back
stance.
to it though, because I have a feeling I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to be like, I miss it now.
Did anyone else have any more thoughts on these songs, or should we move on?
We've had plenty of thoughts.
Okay, I
on
know.
Just It's so nice.
Okay, so Sean, what are your two songs?
Okay, it's a Black Tar and Z5 Mira.
Now we're stuck on a whole different planet. No peace looking at the sky. Trouble's always all around, so we stay quick with the guns and cannons. Standing as long as you can until we get all dolls up. Then call our bets off, we'll blow the guitar. Dealing with lives messed up. mystery, maybe no more sleep. All swallowed in grief, images start to stalk my release. I hear voices, but no one talking to me.
It's like I'm washing away my peaceful days anyway. Anyhow, nothing left of the sea. If you were losing your way, you need some protection. Right, I'll get you wherever you go. They could find you with sticky. Wherever you try, don't feel like you just can't be there.
They said, seek to find the feel, so we can sharpen skills, but now we can only feel all the pain and the danger of being real. And we may have to kill just to stay alive, cause they've taken away close mates, and we don't know our own fates. We've been tasked to protect and take on roles, but now this black time is moving the damage, it's quick, it moves really fast, cause it covers everything. This wasn't in the profile, so now we have to find a way to win before we die out. Living life on the run with a hand on the gun. Where's the exit? We can't go back where we came from. We can't go back where we came from.
Black Tar gets a lot of flack. Honestly, it's like mostly for the lyrics. Like they're kind of a punchline because they're very blunt. Like in both versions, really. And that I think is like the sticking point for a lot of people who are not as big of fans of X's soundtrack as even just the other Xenoblades. But for what it's worth, I'm fine with the bluntness, and it also just helps that the instrumentation goes incredibly hard. I do like what I wanted to mainly talk about in regards to the Skell theme is how it plays off of the first one. Because with the first one, it starts out kind of soft before like going into a lot of really harsh guitars. Like, it's like, you're a little guy going out into this big harsh world and that sort of thing. Whereas with the Skell theme, the scale kind of increases. Like, it also starts off with like a steady techno thing, but then like the guitars, when they come in, just start blaring. And, the first lyrics in, like, the On the Ground theme are, like, dun dun dun, stuck on a whole different planet, like, just get you caught up with the situation. Whereas the first lyrics with the Skell theme are, get armed, don't look back, shoot them with your guns. Because at this point, you're in a robot and you know the game by now. And you're probably fighting something really big if they've lived long enough for you to hear that part of the song.
It's actually a fun way to look at it.
Still can't exactly place the purpose of the name Black Tar. But
I love that title though. I don't know why it's such a good, gritty sounding name for a battle theme.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're gonna try making sense of the song names at this point, like,
I think Black Tar's on the lower end of something we could interpret.
But Black Tar. That's I don't know. I don't even think there are any tar pits on the planet.
Yeah, I think there is, but I don't remember where. I think it's a cave. I don't know if it's like a tar pit proper, like the Zelda style one that just mucks you up. But anyway, this was a really cool song though. I really love just that kind of techno bit at the beginning of it too, and it's kind of a nice segue to actually hear over and over again. Gives it a good intensity. The way Sawano tends to work in like electric beats with electric guitar and vocals is just so smooth. Like it's rapper, singer, backups, and then like a whole bunch of modulations to it to keep giving it like more emphasis and sound, and kind of imbue that techie aspect to it.
It's also nice that both versions can kind of swap in and out if you're like getting out of the Skell.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm just gonna go down there and overdrive. What's that one line?
I wrote some
not
down.
To sound cliche, but this world sucks.
Not to sound cliche, but this world sucks was one of the 3 little bits of lyrics I wrote down alongside stuck on a different planet and I need a bigger gun.
I like that line. I love that line, and I like that one of the big guns is literally just a giant laser cannon.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of tracks. And there's a few giant laser cannons in this game that are all mwah, chef kiss.
I used to hate this song.
Fair.
When
I get it.
Again, it's.
I'm
so
sorry,
much
Mike.
of this, no. I said used to. The soundtrack it catches you so off guard. It caught me off guard at first too, and I was just not a fan. But it eventually grew on me. It didn't grow on me as much as like Uncontrollable and some other ones. But I'm like, the more I listened to it, the more I got invested in the game and the soundtrack. I'm like, all right. Maybe this is not the thing I would listen to a lot outside of the game on its own, but it works for the world, so I grew to appreciate it. So it is a lot of fun. So I did turn around on it. So, and the lyrics, even if some of the lyrics are kind of funky, what they're doing is like, this whole situation where you're stuck on this planet and like this harsh reality of what life is now. I'm like, all right. Well, then you need a song that kind of like hits hard to tell that. So I think maybe that's what
sort of storytelling in a way.
Yeah, that's what got me
Yeah.
liking it.
Even with like the Skell version, it still has that through line of, oh, we're stuck on a different planet. Because it's even once you're like able to go up against like the big monsters with your Skell or whatever, there's still huge monsters, and the reality of this is what you have to fight now is, all of a sudden hitting you. And so, it brings you back to that place of, oh God, I really am stuck on a different planet.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can talk about Z5 Mira then.
Okay. You can also take this section as like, a slight nocturna date because they sound very similar. They really do. But Z5 Mira is the song that plays when you first come into the field during the tutorial section, and I can't remember my exact headspace, circa 10 years ago, watching like a Nintendo Direct or perusing the, Nintendo YouTube channel. But I remember watching at least one trailer with just like huge like shots of like the characters like moving around the world, like with like very scenic like camera angles and stuff like that, and with like just incredibly soulful vocalization from this song, just like as the backing music. And I'm like, okay, I have to get around to this. This is something else.
It does so much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because this is to me like the perfect duality of like beauty and harshness of the entire World of Mira song for me. Because like the song is never like really upbeat. It's never really. It's not like there. It isn't like a song that makes you feel comfortable. It has a kind of jungle vibe to it, honestly, at the start at least. The sound of jungle and the sound of adventure is honestly kind of one and the same when you think about it. Maybe that's why I think of Nocturna when I think of this. Like the start is a kind of trepidatious feeling, like stepping out into the world with a lot of ethereal but like strong vocalization that implies like a greater mystery to this. Like there are untapped depths of this world that might not be entirely working to your favor. They may even be hostile, but there's also like in the back half a very triumphant feeling to it. Like you can overcome. There's a shot. You really feel like you have a shot to really live here and make your way on Mira. And that's just the feeling that this gives me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time. I really like listening to the soundtrack. I really wish I knew where they were sampling vocals from, because a lot of the soundtrack uses so many vocals, and like it goes from people, but I think some of them are actual just samples from something else too. Because like some of them are just a little too random to be one of the 7 people they got, or just a little different, or just again so layered. So I always wonder what some of the sampling is for the music, because it's really, really good. It's such a good mix of sounds and very different vibes for each of the main places that you go to, or like you said for Noctilum, or but yeah, as an introduction to Mira, like there's a certain wildness to the song and adventure, and it sounds so new and refreshing and bright, and a little dangerous.
Yeah, it's so weird that I wrote a little bit more on Black Car than I did on this one, even though this is one of my favorite songs. I think I actually brought this song on at some point in the past. Another one of my favorites. Again, due to the high energy level, the vocals are. I described them. I thought of them as intense, but also a little desperate sometimes. That continues to like contribute to that feel of just this situation that our characters are in. And then, but also like there's also the positive side of it. All this really makes me think of the high adventure and running across these landscapes and jumping off cliffs because there's no fall damage.
Woo. What about Wes? Do you have any thoughts?
I think what's interesting about Z5 Mira is just that unique instrumentation that stands out so much, because there's so much that we don't often hear out of Sawano. Like, it's got that same kind of driving energy, but in such a different way than a lot of the rest of the tracks, that it makes it, I don't know, something special to listen to. And kind of starts to dispel that little bit of idea that none of this music, fully fits, or that it's too over the top, or that it's clashing, because it feels like, yes, this still has that drive and energy, but it's definitively doing something very different to try to match what's going on in the story and the world.
Yeah, I'd say
definitely.
The vibes check pretty nice.
All right, Steph, you want to talk about some music?
I really like that like, I don't know, there's that one voice in what's it called, Z5 Mira. I hate these titles, I'm so bad with them. It's like I see faces everywhere. Like, it's so cool just the way they mix in some of those vocals, and I'm not always sure what they mean, but they're really cool anyway.
So you don't see faces everywhere?
Yeah, well, yeah. No.
Not that I will admit to on air. Yeah.
Shh, be quiet there, David. Okay, anyways, do you want me to talk about Wir Fliegen? Okay, I don't know if we're pronouncing it right.
I don't
Sure, it's a
either.
different
I'm so glad
song.
you have to do it instead of me.
Okay. Okay, so Xenoblade X Chronicles OST, I didn't have to say that. Wir Fliegen and the Manon theme.
All right. Yeah, I like that. Wir Fliegen. It's Manon. Okay. See, I thought Manon for some reason. So whatever. I don't know how to pronounce any of this apparently. So let's go listen to Wir Fliegen and Manon.
So Wir Fliegen. Oh my god, I'm so sorry to anyone German listening if that was terrible. I really am sorry. But this is the Skell super mode music when you're in overdrive, but on your Skell. I really love that the first part of the song, the harmony for the song that against the main vocalist is a whisper. I think that's really cool. So, like, they kind of present the idea of souls a lot in this game. You know, the mechanic for soul voice, certain spoilers, you know, kind of have people questioning about what a soul is. So I kind of like this idea, this whole kind of very Ghost in the Shellian, you know, kind of whispering in the first part of the song where you're kind of with your machine while you're this body in this machine, and you know, it's just kind of an interesting layer. It's a very cool technical song, but it's the song that you hear when you're kicking ass, but it's kind of quiet and kind of chilled out. Like, it's such a calm song for such a kick-ass song, and I like that it kind of sounds confident in that sense, you know, and that kind of like, you know, you're up against the enemy and you're like, I got this, and you go out there and start dealing, you know, super combos and dealing 999 damage. And so what's really cool though is that, like, when you are in this cockpit mode too, you also take no HP damage as well, so it's just kind of meant to be this kind of kick-ass song. You're not really worrying as much inside of it. I really like how about halfway through you got that kind of porno guitarish, that like, it's just got a really interesting sound that goes from techie to the way it goes from technical parts to the more natural instruments, and I think it's really, really cool. A lot of the music the song tends to isolate parts, like sometimes it's bass heavy, then it's drum heavy, then it's vocal heavy, and yeah, I think that's all I got to say about it. I just think it's a really, really cool song. I didn't really expect it after all the boombastic fighting themes. And especially when you think of, like, Xenoblade 3's chain attack song, which is very heroic. I like how chill this one is.
I want to talk about this. I really do. I don't have that much to say about it because I didn't use Overdrive too much, despite, you know, having logged hundreds of hours in this game for some reason. But you know, the chain attack in Xenoblade 3, that also has something of a don't worry problem because it kind of keeps popping up and it can go on for so long.
And at a certain point, you almost just want, like, the one good song you're listening to just, like, keep going and not get interrupted, and it does get interrupted by, admittedly, another great song, but yeah, it's just a little flow breaking.
I do like this one. Actually. I do think, like, you know, this one, like, the transition in and out of it isn't as, you know, extreme as, you know, the chain attack system in Xenoblade 3. And, you know, I think the song kind of reflects that, and it, like, actually works. You're not, unless you're, like, really gaming the system, it's not like you're going to be in overdrive for, like, an exceptional amount of time anyway.
Oh, my friend, the disc bomb method is for you.
You know, I was never, like, the most min-maxing kind of guy, so that you can take that as you will.
Fair enough. It's a lot of work to do some of these builds.
I know you have to talk about your second one, but I'm going to say I like both of your songs a lot, Steph.
Thank you.
Just because, like, this is one of the reasons that I ended up pairing everyone's own songs together in this episode. I'm like, I like these two together so much. They're I don't know if it's lighter or bouncier or something. There's something a little more lighthearted versus some of the other songs we have today about your two. And there's not really, I don't think there's really a ton of that in the game, except for, like, the whatever the theme is for, like, the quote unquote comedy scenes at the end of each chapter about eating
eating a certain nopon.
Oh my god, it's just the same joke every time.
Same joke.
Anyway, but yeah, but otherwise, like, there's not a lot of that. But I like that you have these two.
I kind of make a little joke to myself usually when guys share game music, it's usually the battle musics, the really hard ones.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, sometimes yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's just a tendency.
I mean, I'm playing into the toxically masculine stereotype. I'm sorry.
No, there's a lot of that in this game. So
yeah.
But like this still has, like, a little bit of that like industrial kind of rock sound, but it's just delivered in a different way than some of the other ones. Especially with the vocals on this that kind of give me a similar kind of mood or a vibe to, like, Uncontrollable, but more, I don't want to say poppy, but in comparison, kind of poppy in comparison to that. I don't know. It's just a lot of fun.
Like Europop. Yeah, no, that's a good point though. Its vibe is very different, which is good, right? Because I guess if you're going to segue from one heavy song, then you do have to change maybe the genre just to kind of differentiate a little bit.
Yeah.
Which might have been the point. Is that, yeah, it had to vibe differently. And it does.
You know, I think that, you know, a lot of people probably invested more in Overdrive than I did.
Oh, I loved it. That cockpit mode is just so cool. I love
that. I love that whenever it
so
popped
cool.
up.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought this was such a cool song when I heard it. And even now, like, it's kind of easy on the ears that I can kind of put it on replay. And for, my Overdrive builds.
Yeah.
I feel like I rambled when I spoke before. Damn it, I'm better now.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. I really wonder what they're going to be doing new versions of. This whole, like, they have a new Don't Worry has got me spoiled in thinking about it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm excited about your next track, but I need to let you talk about it first, so.
This one I basically had just in the bag. Like, I absolutely wanted to put this one. So the Manon theme, it's this little weirdo track for the best aliens in the game. They're like super duper tech geniuses, even outdoing like Earth and the other aliens that you come across. But they had not yet discovered pizza. And they're so quirky and lovely and sweet, and you know, generally they're really trying to help each other out. They're very friendly aliens. They could be paid in pizza, which is very cute. I love the first half of the song because it's kind of taking form. It doesn't really have a proper melody. The song sounds really techy and kind of scatterbrained and just a little zany. You can't really peg any melody down, but then it finally finds it. There's something very sweet and friendly at the end when it does find its theme. And I think that's kind of cute and perfect for the Manon. But like I said earlier, all of the alien species in this game are so fun. So it's great that they kind of have this one place to kind of have a concourse in, is the Manon ship. And, you know, you have to get to it in a very particular way. You have to either teleport onto it or scale fly onto it. And it's such a cool looking area. And it's so alien.
Mm-hmm.
It was very fun when, like, you know, after a whole game of just, like, fast traveling there or teleporting there, I could just, like, make it, like, a stop with the Skeld.
Yeah. It's just flying in the sky that whole time, too. And then you get there, and it's like, here's a whole new other grid of quests that you can take on to help Manons with their problems.
Yeah, this, maybe unsurprisingly, but when I mentioned earlier, like, where I was going to talk about my love of the side quests, this was where it was going to come up. Because this was one of the, maybe the biggest, like, where it really hit me, like, what was going on, like, when the ship lands, like, oh, like, there's this whole corner of the city that, like, looks different now, and there's a new race, and everyone in town is reacting, and all the just people on the street have new dialogue because of this. I'm like, that's what this game is doing. So that's one of the reasons I like them and like this theme music, just because of the implications around it. But do we have any final thoughts on these songs? Are we good?
I said my piece.
All right, so I guess it's time to introduce my songs then. So I have Shiro no Tairiku, which is the Sylvalum theme, and Theme X. So let us go listen. So 8 songs today, and only one of them I would describe as chill. So of course, that's the one I brought. This is I don't want to keep saying this is one of my favorite songs from the game because I just have so many, but it definitely is different than everything else we've heard today, and I just adore it. I especially like the daytime part of it. I always have. Like this zone in general, I think is just beautiful. Like
It's so weird. I love
every
it.
every zone is very unique, but this is my favorite visually.
I think it's the one that feels like most like an alien world.
Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
and it's always struck me as cool where it's like it's the one where it's more dangerous at night,
Yeah.
and more bigger, badder things come out at night. So the daytime theme is much more calm and serene, and that's obviously that flips the norm in this game pretty much in most games. Most games and Xeno games that have a nighttime theme, obviously you expect the nighttime theme to be calmer. So I always thought it was really fascinating that they did it the opposite here, and how it works, within the context of the game. It's not just that the music is different. So really cool. And
It's the one area that wakes up at night.
yeah. And in a game like this, I really love, exploring is my thing. Like whether it's an MMO or any other game where I'm allowed to, if I can get somewhere, even if I shouldn't be there. And I remember getting to this place, and I definitely had no business being there. So
Did you go into the sphere? Did you go in the giant sphere?
Very cautiously, I don't know, but I was very cautiously walking around, and I'm like, I don't want to leave though because I like this music.
Because there's like stuff that's like hidden in the ground. There's stuff that's like just swarming around, and like you have to be careful, but it's quiet and peaceful at the same time. Like you kind of set this place off if you throw it off.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't there a lot of like camouflaged like enemies in this one, or am I thinking of Noctilum?
A bit of both. Like they all kind of share enemies, but this one I think kind of goes for some of the more dangerous spots. There's a lot of dangerous stuff that's like lurking in kind of secret corners of this map, and not so secret corners. You're just like, no, it's right here.
Yeah.
Run.
I had like a really weird experience with this because I remember like I think I triggered Hope. Maybe it was Hope's recruitment quest. Maybe it was some other characters. Either way, it was a character quest, so I couldn't say no to it and couldn't like do any like main story stuff until I completed it. But I had like triggered it, and like I had not like been to Sylvalum at this point in the game, and not like never, and I don't even think I was supposed to be there. Like, and it wasn't even like something like where the objective was set in Sylvalum. Like there was like, it was just like at the very starting area of Cauldros, so I had to trek all the way across Sylvalum.
It's nice when they have it connected like that, and it kind of takes you into that hallway into somewhere totally different.
Yeah.
And like Sylvalum's way more chill, and then all of a sudden, the Cauldros music starts blasting at you. You're like, where am I? And it's Lethal Lava Land all over again.
I mean, Sylvalum, honestly, it's more a false sense of security.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of this game is a false sense of security.
Points for Lethal Lava Land reference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless you, Koji Kondo.
Yeah.
One of my friends, whenever he's driving, just has like the Mario 64 soundtrack mixed in with like Sonic Adventure 2 and Final Fantasy 7 and Katamari.
I've been asking like gamers lately, what percentage of your altogether music listening time is video game music?
High for me.
I can pretty easily say 50%, but like if I'm not thinking about it, I can still pretty much
Okay,
boom 50.
Yeah. I
It's
don't
a
wanna
lot,
get
right?
Too off track. Here's what I'm gonna do.
I know.
In my iTunes, even though it's called Apple, it's called Music now. I have 27,000 songs.
Oh my gosh.
In my RPG specific music playlist,
Yeah.
I have 15,000 songs. And that's RPG. That's not just
Yeah.
video game, that's just RPG music.
And there's so much good everywhere in video games that it's going to be a huge list. Yeah. Did any of you like collect what do you call them, midis back in the day?
Middies?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
I would listen to them because here we are dating myself. But way back in the early couple years of RPG Fan, we did have a little radio player on the site, and it was just had
Cool.
little MIDI files for game music. I mentioned that like sometime on the podcast. I think last year. I forgot who was on that episode, and some people were like, "You should bring that back." I'm like, I don't know if we need that back on the site. It's a fun idea.
I think it's a different time.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
that it works anymore, but it's fun to think about.
It's nice to find new music that way. I think it's kind of hard. You might be a little reticent to go out there and like kind of find new stuff when the old stuff is always good, or you don't know if the new stuff will be good. And it's kind of a nice way to kind of break out of your shell to just be forced to find new stuff in a good way.
Yeah. Well, what's good for that is music podcasts.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a big fan of Rhythm Encounter, but I have started like branching out and looking at other shows too. And there's several video game music podcasts out there, and it's a good way of discovering things.
Oh, if you have any good ones you recommend, I hate to say on the podcast for us.
Yep, I'm gonna give a plug to Rhythm and Pixels right now, actually, because
Okay.
they've been around actually almost as long as Rhythm Encounter, but I only discovered them a couple of years ago. And that one's hosted by two guys, and they're great. They're not just RPGs, just game music, and they have introduced me to a lot of things, and they're a lot of fun to listen to. So check them out.
That's wonderful. Okay, I got them booted up here. I'd love to listen. Yeah, no, and same with Sylvalum, to go back to it. I love just how the song sounds. Like you said, it's one of the only ones that stays calm for most of its run. The melody is just really pretty. It's like heroic in a different way. It sounds like an important song, and like you might find secrets under the sand or snow or whatever it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
And those secrets will probably kill you.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many interesting areas in Sylvalum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like one of those it was the one place like I finally found the last cave to explore like 200 hours in, and it was in Sylvalum too, just some corner I never investigated before. I love that feeling in this game.
I mean, that's a feeling in Xenoblade. I actually joined when I first played it. I joined the Reclaimers because those were the treasure hunting guys, and that was one of the first things I did in any area, like find as much of the treasure caches as possible and just dig into them.
I think I did the curator, which was picking up all the shinies everywhere, which appeals to my, I don't know, my girly eyes.
God.
It's like,
Oh,
ooh,
yes,
glitters.
yes. Always playing that game. I'm like, I need to go this way, but there's something over there first.
I mean, I know that there was one faction that was pretty was pretty dominant in throughout the game's online lifespan.
Which one was it? Yeah. Was it the one that you hunt, I think, like the boss monsters?
I don't know exactly. I think it was the one based on mining, because mining was automated.
Okay, so frequent. Yeah, okay. Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, and they just kind of had the upper hand all the time. I think they got rid of that this time around.
I mean,
For the
they would have
I
to
think
balance
they're
that.
rejigging it, yeah.
They would have to rejig it.
'Cause, yeah, it was a bit messy before. Yeah, no, I can't wait to explore these stupid areas again. All of the area themes are just so good. I really wanted to put Sylvalum, but I was expecting somebody else to put it. I really wanted to put Cauldros because I just love how intense it is. Yeah, no, just the vibes that they captured with each area is just so good, and it's definitely songs you don't mind listening to for hours and hours and hours on end. They loop very well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I wrote almost the least about my second song. And
I think it speaks for itself.
And it's because of you, Steph.
Sorry.
I would no. It's a good thing. Normally, I would say a lot of words on this song because there's a lot to talk about. It goes a lot of different places. But you said something on when we were picking songs. You left a little note next to my song, and you said, "quote This song really does it all."
Yeah.
And I love that so much that I don't want to say much. I don't feel like I need to say much more about it because you summarized everything I would have said in those 6 words.
It's so much. It
that's
pulls
it.
you so many places. Like I can't help it. Just like my mind just kind of starts picturing so much. The world, the heroics, the aliens, the fighting, and all that. It just all of it.
One of the first trailers they had for the remaster was the intro scene, I think.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah,
yeah.
this is one of the trailers for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's this song is like an encapsulation of the sounds and feelings that we've experienced everywhere else in the soundtrack. Like, it just really compresses them all here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to make too big a thing of it, but I really like that you said that because it really did sum up my thoughts on it. So, good job.
I love the way it works in the like vocal version, the vocal song "The Way." You know, the just everything about you, like, and it's just so pretty here, just as an instrumental. It sounds so good, and yeah, but it's like heroic and hopeful, and just a little sad, and a little futury.
Melancholy for what was lost, but like this is the moment where you're like, oh yeah, we can make this work. We can fight back.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Yep.
I was so happy to see, I don't know if you guys know him, but Drumroll Tony react to this one too, and the same thing, he really liked it. Because, yeah, it's just pulling so many parts for all of the feelings that it might be used for. I know they use it for quite a few cutscenes. And yeah, it just kind of represents a lot of the struggle that, they go through.
Yeah.
Speaking of like very incidental songs, there is one song I was considering putting on here. I don't remember its name, but like it was a song that was way too epic for just being in like a few side quests or something.
I can definitely see that as a Sawano thing in general.
Yeah.
It was like, I think it just like plays during a few story moments or like for a few side quests and I don't remember exactly how many songs have that exact problem in this game, but like, it goes to show you that, a lot of games wouldn't even have one song that good in their soundtrack, and this one has some songs they can just throw away, like, for a side quest.
Yeah, for real, actually.
Melancholia, that's what it was.
Melancholia,
Oh,
yeah.
I was going to ask if it was that one.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a bunch of other songs I really wanted to put here just to like shoot them off real quick. The title screen thing, like the title screen music, I thought is so amazing and epic. It starts very calm, then it goes really hard, and then it ends on just that kind of drum line for like a good 30 seconds to a minute. The Blade Barracks song is just so chill. It's so cool. I love just having that thing playing on in the background. I already mentioned Caldros, but also the character creator song too. I love games when they have great character creator music because I think
this one has
spending a lot of time in them.
Amazing character creator music.
It's got such attitude. I love it. It's very kicky.
When it goes through like some neat stages too.
Yeah, the guitar is a lot of fun. There's some screeching in it.
I was going to ask if they had that one, customizing skills. Usually when I customize skills, I was in the barracks.
Yeah.
I think my first playthrough, I had either come off of or had like watched a video about Zone of the Enders, so I named all my mechs after Zone of the Enders stuff.
Nice.
I like that.
Good choice.
Yeah.
So you named all your mechs after a game that named its mechs after like Egyptian gods and stuff.
Like I named
cool.
my mech Anubis. I named like my backup Jehuti or something like that.
Nice.
I'm gonna call my next skill Transmit Eggs.
What?
It's a Xenoblade joke.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay, I did get that reference, Stephanie, but
Okay.
for some reason I don't hear. When you hear that, you don't think AGWS.
I know. Yeah,
so
it's
I'm
like
that's
Augs.
why are you pronouncing it like
Yeah.
that? It throws me off.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I did like when they said it though. It made me giggle.
Yeah.
Like whenever I think of good character creators songs, I think of Fire Emblem Awakening. I think of FF14. I think of Dragon's Dogma, and I think of this.
Okay. I say
New LA.
we're done.
Oh.
Well, our bonus track is at the end, so yeah.
But I rhymed with you. It was so perfect.
That's true. Okay, well, whatever. People will find out soon enough. So yeah, maybe that's a hint to what you're about to hear in a few minutes.
Yes.
So as always, I like to talk about games that made their debut on Rhythm Encounter, and today we have none because I have brought Xenoblade Chronicles X on the show many, many times in the past. So it's nothing new, but a lot of these songs, particular songs, had never been on. So always a lot of fun. Coming up next on Rhythm Encounter in a couple weeks, we are doing an episode on visual novels. That was actually an idea. I thought we had this idea written down, but
Yeah.
it was from someone in our Discord that suggested we do it. And I said, hey, who wants to do this? And I think within a couple hours, we had like an entire panel of people that were like, I want it. So that's our next episode.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it came together really fast. They're actually recording tomorrow. And after visual novels, we're going to continue. Hillary and I are going to do another new music this quarter episode. We did one a few months ago. So this next one will be new music that we want to highlight from between January and March. So that'll be 2 weeks after that. All right. So if you have any thoughts on this episode and you want to reach me, you can reach the show and me at music@rpgfan.com. And what is the best way for people to reach you, Stephanie?
You can find me most anywhere online as Dice SMS, so Dice like playing dice, and SMS. I draw a lot of video game stuff, so come and follow me.
You draw
like talking video games
some
with people.
fantastic video game stuff, so yes, go follow
Excellent art.
Thank you.
Steph. And how about you, Sean?
You can find me on Twitter. I think it's under Sean P. Cabot 1, I think. Oh, no one at the end. It's just at Sean P. Cabot. Okay. And I publish reviews a lot on, the site too, so it'd be nice if you took a look at those. I just got done with some, Never 7 Ever 17 stuff. Those were very fun to look at.
You got me interested in it. Yeah, it was a good review to read.
Yeah, go check out those. And last, I'm sorry, Wes, I had you go last in the intro and here, but you know what? I do it because...
I bring a sense of finality.
Well, it's the finality, and it's because I know there's a thing in like movies and TVs where that whoever's at the end gets the like "and" credit or the special guest, and I want that to be you every time.
I'm the "and" Wes Iliff at the end of the
You are the "and"
billing,
which means for several seasons that means you were Anthony Stewart Head, and then sometimes Allison Hannigan in my world.
Oh my god.
So yeah, Wes, where can people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Lone Weasel. That's pretty much it these days.
That's fine. I don't blame you. That's a good choice. Yeah. Okay. And if you enjoyed Rhythm Encounter, we are not the only podcast on the RPG Fan Podcast Network. We have Random Encounter that goes up every other Monday, opposite Rhythm Encounter. On Random Encounter, their most recent episode featured Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii and Avowed. And next week, they're going to be talking about Monster Hunter Wilds and Suikoden 1 and 2, since that remaster is finally coming out. We also have Retro Encounter that posts every other Thursday. And they are doing a Tales of Grace's F game journal right now. They just posted the first episode last week, and next week is part 2. So if you are into Tales or Graces or want to be, go check those out. And you can find RPG Fan on most social media as RPGFan.com or as RPG Fan on Blue Sky. We have links to all of our social media in our show notes. You can also find us on Twitch and YouTube. We have a Discord. Our website, of course, is rpgfan.com, where you can find news and reviews and podcasts and lots of other things. We've been doing a lot of previews lately, so check that out too. And of course, on the site, also, I'm just going to keep saying, of course, for no good reason, we have a shop. You can find that at rpgfan.com/shop. You can get RPG Fan branded merch, t-shirts and stickers and all kinds of stuff. And our review card collection, which actually I'm glad you're here, Steph, because we would not have that book if not for you, because that combines almost 300 of our review cards that Steph and every once in a while but mostly Steph, has made for our social media. And you also did the cover, which is just beautiful. So
Thank you.
Definitely go to rpgfan.com/shop. Check out that book. It's really, really fun.
You get to support us, and yeah, I thought it was actually a great way to find like new games to play.
Yeah. I mean, everyone I've talked to that has picked up a copy has been really, really happy with it. So, of course, I recommend it. And lastly, if you enjoyed this episode, we would appreciate it if you could leave a review, a like, a comment, whatever it is, wherever it is that you get your podcasts, whether that's Apple, Spotify, YouTube, etc. And that's it. So we are going to close out with a song that we might have teased at this point, unless I took it all out in the edit. I'm not sure yet.
Teasing is a very generous way to describe it.
Well, again, like some of that I'm taking out, so I don't know. If I can take out the rest, then I did, and no one knows what this is going to be. This was when I asked for who wants to do a bonus track. Steph and Wes both mentioned one, and I'm like, well, I like this too, and Sean, you like it too. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of crediting this to one person, this is all of our bonus track. But Steph, you can introduce it.
Yay! So this is from the Xenoblade X soundtrack. Again, I didn't have to specify. The new LA theme. I don't really know what kind of music you'd want from what's the last remaining Earth colony modeled after a space Los Angeles and inhabited by science engineers, mercs, and aliens stranded on a dubious sci-fi planet, but I think it matches the mood perfectly.
See, you did it again. You summed it up. That's exactly it. That's exactly why that song works and why it's a lot of fun. Like Black Tar, wasn't a fan at first, but I understood it later, and now I like it.
I don't have anything to add because that was perfect.
It was.
Even the nighttime theme, like, I love just that down. Yeah, it gets made fun of in meme, but the like, it's just such a nice, cool, we're closed for the night kind of version of the song too. But I love when it actually hits that harder part in the second half. That like, it just goes really hard at the end. It's so good. I always gotta like turn it up a little bit sometimes.
Yep.
So good.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank all of you for being here. And we will see you in a couple weeks for visual novels. Until then, we leave you with the new LA theme. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
One, two, three, four.
I don't know. There any limit on profanity?
Don't.